welcome to my channel. Today I am going to do a review of Rocky Mountain dips. I have never tried them before, and so I made a small purchase, and I'm going to get those swatched and open those up and show you. And I am planning on doing a mani on this hand and showing you what my process is after my builder gel and fill. I got from Rocky Mountain Dip Powders. They are located in Colorado, and I got holiday ears because I am a big Disney fan. And then I got 3 of her Professor's Collection dips. I don't know that they're available any longer. I did miss out on some of them, but I did get some of my favorites. I got Mischievous Map, Wisdom, and Don't Call Me Nymphadora. I got Wisdom because my daughter has been sorted into Ravenclaw, and she is super smart, so it fits. So let's open this up and see what we've got here. Okay, she sent a little card that says, I just wanted to say thank you, Rocky Mountain Dip Powder. Nothing on the back. That's nice. It's super cute. I like the little heart. And, oh yes, I also got these glitters. They're the awareness ribbon glitters. I thought those would be great for various manis. As I want to do awareness manis, I thought these would be a nice addition. So I'm super excited about these. She actually sells quite a few various kinds of just plain glitters like that. Glitter shapes. Oh, I'm stuck. Okay. Holiday ears. Let's see these. All right, and that looks like it's probably a clear powder. I'm not real sure. It might be a milky white. I'll know more when I dip into it, but it is jam-packed with white, red, and green Mickey ears glitters. Oh my golly. I love Mickey ears and I love Christmas. So I'm excited about that. And we're in December, so I'll be using that soon. And then we have Mischievous Map, which, let's open that up. Oh, there's some flakies, some foil flakes in there. Looks like some gold and copper foil flakes, and there's some very fine sparkly gold glitters in there as well. I can't wait to see what that one looks like dipped as well. These are pretty. Don't Call Me Nymphadora. It's purple, but I believe this is a thermal changer, and it'll change to pink. So this must be the cool. And there's a shimmer. I can see, I don't know if you can see it in there, but there is definitely a little bit of a shimmer in there. Oh, look at that. I think that's what it turns to when it's warm. Very cool. Call Me Nymphadora. So Tonks, her real name is Nymphadora in the Harry Potter movies. Her hair color changes with her mood. So that is a very cool color. And then Wisdom is supposedly the color of Ravenclaw. So my daughter was super excited when I told her about this dip because everybody always puts silver with the blue, and Ravenclaw's actual house colors are copper and blue. And it looks like there's a copper, a fine glitter powder in there. And then it's got the blue and the coppery gold. It's really kind of a pale copper, hexagonal. Oh my golly. Okay, I'm excited about that one. I might have to use that one. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Oh, maybe I'll do these two together. Those will probably be pretty together. Okay, I'm gonna swatch these and I will come back and show you what they look like. Here are our beautiful colors from Rocky Mountain Dips. Holiday Ears, looks like this. Now, this is a very, very chunky glitter, and I always do 2 dips every time I do a swatch stick. So it's always gonna be the same no matter what. So with this, I did 2 dips and you can see it's super chunky, and I had to do a really thick top coat in order to make it smooth. So I think with this, I would probably use this dip as placement, especially since the background dip is a clear dip. But I love it, and I can't wait to use this one. Mischievous Map. Mischievous Map actually does have a clear background as well, but there is enough of the glitter and the foils in there that it tints it some. So it has these pretty gold and copper foils, and I'm not sure I'm going to use this one in my mani. I think I'm going to use the next one. So if you want to see a video where I show you how to use foils, let me know in the comments, and I am happy to make that happen for you. Wisdom. I think this is the color I'm going to use, and I'm going to go through my collection and I'm going to find a couple of solids that go with this. But this is gorgeous, and I love how they have the copper instead of silver, because that is more true to Ravenclaw's actual house colors. But this is gorgeous. I love this, and I think this is the one I'm gonna use today. And I'll show you how I do glitters with the gel method. So that's exciting. Okay. Don't call me Nymphadora. This is our cold color. Now, Nymphadora, or also known as Tonks, Tonks is her last name, Nymphadora is her first name. She has this fun hair that changes colors. I'm going to heat this up in my lamp, but her hair changes colors depending on her mood. And this dip changes colors based on heat. Oh, not yet. I need to get it in there. So give it a second. I'll be right back with a changed color powder. Ta-da! Here it is. It's a beautiful, bright pink, and it's actually kind of jelly-like. I like this dip. It's really neat. It's jelly like, and then it's got that bright pink and the purple. It's really neat. I like that. So we'll set that here. You can watch it change colors. Okay, so with my mani, I am going to do glitter. So I'm going to use this one, and I will probably use Polished Penthouse for one of my colors, and then I think I'm going to try and find one of my navy blue colors to go with it too. And I think that'll be a really nice mani. And I'll show you how I do glitters with the gel method. I'll see you soon. Okay, let's get going on the mani. I had somebody request after my prep and builder gel fill video to show my full process. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that here. Originally, I had left all my all my commentary in, but my video was about an hour and 15 minutes. So I'm gonna voice over it from here and shorten things up a bit. So I always start off, for me, with Peel Base. That's what works best for me. With Peel Base, there's so many different things that you can do to make it work for you. It's one of those very personal trial and error kind of things just to figure out what's right for you. So for me, what works is one thin coat on my entire nail. I found that if I try to put it on my natural nail, it will pop off really quickly. So I at the very least, have a gel base coat and a gel top coat underneath my peel base. Lately I have been doing a builder gel and building up my apex for that, and you can see that video. I have it linked in the cards to show you exactly how I do that. So this mani I am putting on right now has a base coat and a builder gel coat with an apex built and a top coat. I will let that dry for probably about 5 minutes, and then we will come back and get started on this mani. Okay, so now that that is dry and smooth, I am going to be using Navy Pier and Polished Penthouse from Sparkle & Co. They're both sub-bag colors. And then I'm also going to use Wisdom from Rocky Mountain Dip Powder. I will be using my favorite Virgo and Gem gel liquids because I use the gel method when I use dip powders. We'll start off with a very thin layer of our base coat. And I am using my finger prop from Liquid Layers. I'll have the link in the description box if you're interested in that. And remember to keep your layers very thin, because you really don't need thickness. You just need enough for it to be able to stick to the powders. This time I'm going to do a little bit of pour over. You can do either pour over, you can lay it flat on top of your powders if you want. I do both. In fact, I'm going to do both right here. It just kind of depends on my mood. I usually lay flat over glitters, and we'll get into that more. And then I am going to take my What's Up Nails water marble tool. I believe that is in my Amazon favorites list, which you can find a link for that also down in the description box. I like this because it has a super sharp point. It is much thinner than you'll find on an orange wood stick or even a toothpick mostly. So I like to clean up these edges right around my cuticle and my free wall, and just make sure I have any powder that maybe kind of flooded a little or just got a little close to the edge. I want to clean that up so that it makes it super easy for my cuticle lines to be nice and clean. And then I very gently pat the powders, especially right along those edges, so that I have a nice transition from the skin to my nail and cat hair. I have cat hair everywhere. It's insane how much cat hair I have. Some of it might be dog hair even, but probably cat hair because the cats live here in my area where I do my nails. Okay, so I'm going to cure that for 30 seconds. And once that's done, I will grab my stiff nail brush and I will brush off all the excess powder. I really like the stiff brush because I also think that that helps with the clean cuticle lines. Okay, so you can see here just how smooth that is and how thin that layer is. So I'm going to go ahead and do 3 more layers on this finger. I just want to show you really quick just how thin these Virgo and Gem liquids are. That is 3 layers of liquid and powder buildup over my builder gel. So you'll see that the builder gel is the majority of the bulk on this nail, and everything else is so incredibly thin. Okay, so now I'm going to move this to the side and we are going to move on to other fingers. I am going to use Navy Pier. And then I'm going to pour that into my little mini cupcake liner so it's easier to lay my finger into. Sometimes these small containers are hard to dip longer nails into, especially with the gel method, because you don't want to actually stick your finger in like you would dip it with dip liquids. Okay, so I'm going to lay that in gently, and then I'm going to clean up around. I do this with every nail, every layer. The subsequent layers get a little easier to clean up because gel likes to be where gel is. So usually it's not as hard to clean up those edges for additional layers. Anyway, so we'll clean this up and then we'll flatten it out a little bit and make sure I get everything. I don't want any of those big little clumps. Those will cure like that. So we want to make sure we get rid of those. Okay, and then I gently tap it all down and move on to my next finger. So for my middle finger, I'm going to do an ombre, so I'm going to leave that one alone. My ring finger, I'm going to do a layer of full glitter. So how I like to do full layer glitters is I like to make sure that I have a base of a coordinating color, and it can just be one layer or it can be more if you want it, but the glitters add so much bulk and I don't like bulk, so I always like to have that coordinating color underneath, and that really helps to kind of just eliminate a lot of that bulk that you would get from multiple layers of glitter. All right, pat that down, and then we'll move on to the thumb. The thumb is also going to get glitter, and so is the pinky. But with these, I'm not going to do full layers of glitter. So the thumb and the pinky will each get a second layer of the navy pure. And we will just watch our first layer here, and then I will eliminate the second layer from the video just for time purposes, because this is a really long video, I think. I have a lot of information I kind of want to pack in here, but there will be more videos to come that will show these things more in depth, but I really did want to get one out there that shows how to do glitter the way I do it with the gel method. All right, pat that down, and then we're going to cure that for 30 seconds. Okay, so I have gone in and done a second coat on my pinky and my thumbnail, and I left the ring finger with just the one coat. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to do a tap ombre on my middle finger. So just to show you quickly how I do a tap ombre, I'm sure there'll be videos in the future where I get more in depth into how I do this. But again, I have a thin layer of my base coat. And then I'm going to take a fluffy brush. I have one for each color, especially if they're different, really different, like darknesses. Like I have a really dark blue and a really light polished penthouse white color, so I want to make sure that I have two different brushes. So I'm concentrating up on the cuticle area, and my finger is pointing down a little bit to let gravity flow, and I turn my finger to the side because when I tap off, because I don't want all of that blue to go down my nail too much. What sticks the first layer is what's going to be there, what you're going to see the most of, and anything over that is not necessarily going to stick. So all right, so I tapped that off outside of my cupcake liner because I didn't want any of the dark to get into my white cupcake liner powder. So I'm cleaning up, making sure to get everything off my cuticles. And then I'm gonna go in and do a second coat after I cured. So I did cure for a full 30 seconds. And now I'm going in again with a very thin coat of my base coat. And this second layer, I am going to start with the opposite color than what I started with the last time. I'm just showing here that the navy pure did not stain my brush very much, so I was pretty happy with that. Okay, so now I'm on the tip, and I'm going to tap, focusing mostly on that tip, keeping in mind that whatever this first layer is, I had cat hair, I had to get that off. Oh, I didn't get it off. It's still sitting there. How fun. Okay, at least it's not getting onto the nail. Okay, so keeping in mind that whatever you put on that first layer is what you're mostly going to see. Okay, so now I'm concentrating again, mostly in the cuticle areas and pointing my finger down. And so I'm just gonna do the exact same thing as I did the first time, only I'm doing it in the opposite order. Usually I would do a third layer and just go back starting with the darker color at the base, but this time we're gonna do some glitter. So I'm not gonna do that this time. I'm gonna clean that up a little bit, tap it down, and I'm gonna cure it for 30 seconds. Okay, so now we're gonna get into our glitters. So I'm gonna start with my pinky here. I'm just gonna put a light dusting of glitter as an ombre towards the cuticle area of my nail. This is my smaller finger, so I don't wanna go too crazy with the chunky glitters on this one. I kinda like to keep it a little small. Okay, so I'm gonna pour my Wisdom into the cupcake liner, and then I'm going to take a fan brush. I don't always use a fan brush for my glitter ombres, but I do like it pretty much most of the time. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same thing and concentrate on that cuticle area, and I'm gonna point my finger down and I'm going to tap that down. So I'm actually going to tap it while my finger is pointing down this time, because I do want those glitters to run down the nail. So here I am trying to find a couple of larger pieces, just the kind of the medium, small to medium, but not the teeny tiny ones, because I do want some of those on there. And I'm going to place those. It doesn't work real great for me with this particular time for some reason, so I just move on. I am just, sorry, I'm off frame here. I am putting the navy pure over the tip just to kind of help with that ombre look. And I will probably go back later and do some placing of some of the bigger ones, but I won't need to put another layer on top of that. Okay, so I'm going to cure that for 30 seconds. Actually, I'm only curing that for 10 seconds. I just did a flash cure so that I wouldn't have to worry too much about it while I'm moving on to the next finger. So I'm using my fluffy brush to just brush off the excess for right now, because I only flash cured. Okay, so now I'm going in with my ring finger, and this is the finger that I want to be a full glitter nail. So I am putting my thin coat of base coat on, and I want to make sure I cover that entire nail, and then I'm going to shake up those glitters and bring some of those glitters up to the top, the bigger ones to the top. And then I'm going to lay flat on top and make sure I get it over the entire nail. And look at that. I have full coverage just in that one dip, and it's not going to be super thick and chunky. So that's how I really like to do chunky glitters, is I just like to have the one layer, try to get as much full coverage as I possibly can in that one layer over my coordinating color. You can't even see the navy blue underneath there, but it does give me some of that strength that I'm looking for, and just in case it will coordinate, just in case I do have some see-through spots. So now I'm going through and I am going to clear off those edges and try and push some of those up to the side and onto the nail, and just make sure that they're all there. And then I want to make sure I'm patting it flat, because the glitters will poke up, and I'm going to cure that for a full 30 seconds. Okay, since I cured it for a full 30 seconds, I went ahead and used my stiff brush to get off all that excess. And now I'm just going to go in and place some of the larger pieces in specific strategic spots. Honestly, I think that my water marbling tool probably isn't the best one for this. It kind of works, but I think if you use like a toothpick, the wood will hold on to that base coat just a little bit better and pick up the glitters you want a little easier. So I'll just have to remember that for next time. So, okay. So like I said before, I am just going in and I am strategically placing specific glitters in places where I think that they will look the best. I probably could have gone in with another coat and it wouldn't have been too terribly thick, but it really wasn't necessary. Okay, so once those are all placed, I'm going to cure it for a full 30 seconds, and then I'm going to move on to my thumb. So I'm putting my thin coated base coat, being careful to stay away from my sidewalls, and then I'm going to take my fan brush and I'm actually going to place them on a little bit. I'm going to just tap them on, and it is totally fine to do that with the gel method because it isn't a self-drying glue that's going to mess up your brush. All I have to do is just kind of wipe it off, and there I have it. So look at that. See how easy that was? I just kind of placed it, and now I'm going in with the navy pier and just kind of filling that in on the other edges and making sure that the ombre looks nice, tapping it down. I'm going to clean it up a little bit, and then I'm going to cure that one for another 30 seconds. Oh, no, I don't. I'm going to move straight into my polished penthouse color. That's okay. As long as I'm careful, it's totally fine to just move on to the next color. I just need to keep in mind that I am using gel products and they will not cure or dry by themselves without the lamp. So I have to just be very careful. All right, so I'm gonna do a little bit of the same thing. I'm just kind of tapping it down, and I'm just getting most of the big pieces off of my brush up at the tip. And as I move down the nail, the smaller pieces sort of show up. And I'm sorry I'm off camera here. That's kind of annoying. I'm trying really hard, people. I really am. Anyway, so I had a little corner there that wasn't getting anything on it, and so I put a little bit more base coat on it, and now I'm just tapping it down and making sure that one came off, and I don't think I get it back on. Oh wait, maybe I do. Do I get it back on? I'm looking at my finger. Yes, I must have gotten it back on. Okay, so I'm just tapping it down gently, and then I'm going to take those two nails and I'm going to cure those now. Do I cure them now, or do I move on to that middle nail? Nope, I do not move on. I decide to go in with my polished penthouse and just fill in for that ombre. You don't have to do this part. I like to, but I don't always. Sometimes I just feel like just doing the glitter part and moving on, and that's totally fine. You can do that too. I'm just going to tap that down, and then I'm going to cure it for 30 seconds and move on to the middle finger. Okay, so this middle finger, all I want is a little bit of glitter in the middle where the ombre lines meet, just to kind of enhance that ombre a little bit. Just kind of make it a tricolored ombre almost. So go back in with my very thin coat of base gel, and then I'm going to grab my fan brush. I think I had a little too much base gel there, so I was kind of trying to wipe some of that off. I got a little heavy-handed there for a sec. Okay, so then I'm going to grab my fan brush and I'm going to just pick up a little bit of glitter, not too much, and then I'm going to, I think I tried to tap it, but then I decided I was just going to just set it on there and just move things where I want them. So yeah, I kind of tapped, I kind of placed, I kind of actually touched my brush down. And I don't really want a huge amount. There are a couple of big glitters, and I think that that works just good for me. And then I'm going to take my water marble tool, and I'm just going to move some of those medium-sized glitters that were falling towards the tip kind of back further. I only want the little itty bitties up towards the tip, and I'm not going to fill in with the polished penthouse or the navy pier. At this point, I'm just going to cure it. I just super quick want to show you how thin this mani is. These liquids are insanely thin. Isn't that crazy? I love it. The next step is to kind of sharpen up these edges. I use my 100 grit board file to just make sure that my shape is the way I want it. So I go around the edges just a little bit, and I go along the tip, and that's really all it takes. I'm just kind of making those lines a little sharper because dipping does kind of dull those and build those out a little bit. Then I love my glass file for my cuticle area. If I were to use this board around here, I would chew up those cuticles like crazy, and it's painful. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to take my glass file, which does not hurt at all, and I'm just going to go around that cuticle line and the free edge right along those edges and just clean those up and make those super sharp and crisp. And that is how I get a nice clean cuticle line. And no chewed up cuticles. Isn't that wonderful? Because I use glitters, I want to encapsulate and clear. So I'm going to use liquid builder gel in a bottle. Normally, if you're using dip liquids, you're gonna probably use your dip liquids and some clear powder to encapsulate and protect those glitters from filing and buffing off. You don't want to do that with the gel method because frequently those clear powders can start to look cloudy or grainy. So if you use a liquid builder gel, you are going to have a nice, beautiful, clear, clean, shiny surface to be able to do your buffing on, and you won't come up with any of that cloudiness. You don't need very much. I've already built my apex with my builder gel base, or if you don't have a builder gel base, you can build an apex with your powders as you're going, or you can build your apex right here in this step if you want as well. Any of those options will work. For me, I've already built my apex, so I'm just going to do a very thin coat of this liquid builder gel, and I'm going to cure it for a full 60 seconds once I've gotten to that point. And then I am safe to do any kind of buffing that I want to do. Now, if I didn't have glitters, I would probably skip this step and I would just do a base coat and move on to the next step from there instead of the builder gel. If I didn't have glitters, even just shimmers or fine glitters, you can generally get away with just a base coat instead of a liquid builder gel. Now that that's cured, I want to go in with a lint-free wipe soaked in alcohol, and I want to wipe off that tacky layer. If I don't wipe off that tacky layer, then my buffer or my file will get all gunky and it will ruin it. So I don't want to go through my files that fast. I'd like to be able to reuse them a little bit. So I want to make sure to get that tacky layer off and protect my files a little bit. Okay, so now that I am done wiping off all of that tacky layer, I'm going to take my 100-180 grit flex file and I'm just going to buff up the surface. It doesn't need much. The gel method really plays well with dip powders and it levels nicely, and you really don't need very much. Really all you want to do is just kind of smooth things out, make sure that that transition between your cuticle and the apex is a nice smooth layer. I don't like having big humps places, so I like the side walls to kind of transition nicely up from my skin to the apex on both sides, and also from the cuticle up to the hump in the apex as well. And then I go underneath and I just make sure that those lines underneath are super sharp. Sometimes those edges and corners can get a little sharp and annoying, so I like to just kind of file those up a little bit. And then I'm just going to go in and buff both with my rough side first and then just a little bit with the soft side. That just smooths it out a little bit, but not so much that my my next layers won't adhere well and not flake. For the sake of time, I decided to just show you the one nail, and now that they are all buffed, I'm going to go in with my alcohol lint-free wipe again and take off all of that powder. Make sure I have a nice clean surface. You could also wash your hands if you want to, just don't use anything with a lotion in it. I prefer to use dishwashing liquid if I'm washing my hands while I'm doing my nails. Once those are nice and clean, I am going to go ahead and take my base coat one last time. I do use my base coat. This is optional. If you don't have too smooth of a surface from your buffing, you can go straight into your top coat if you want. But if you tend to get a little bit of peeling of your top coat, I definitely suggest using the base coat first. Because these liquids are so thin, I would rather have the assurance that I'm not going to get any peeling and go ahead and put another coat of base coat on and then my top coat afterwards. So, but that's a personal choice. You can do whichever you choose. You can go straight in with a top coat if you like. So I'm going to finish up here with my base coat. I'm going to cure that for 30 seconds. And then we're going to go in with our top coat. Again, I like my Virgo and Gem. I use all their liquids for as much as I possibly can. Their powders are awesome too. Speaking of powders, what do you think of Rocky Mountain dip powders? My first impression is they're really awesome. They have a lot of really great colors to choose from. They have a monthly collection that usually has a theme, which is a lot of fun. I loved this glitter. Oh, let me just show you here. I am capping my edges. This is especially important if you use peel base and you don't want your pop-offs to happen super quickly. So I like to make sure that I am capping those edges with my top coat just to kind of give me a little bit more wear time with my peel base. Okay, back to the Rocky Mountain powders. I loved them. When I was swatching the other colors, I thought the Tonks, the Don't Call Me Nymphadora, was super cloudy and powdery and really smooth. I think that one's going to be a really nice one to dip into. And the glitters are really neat. She has lots of varieties of her glitters. You know, just having Mickey heads, that's awesome. You know, the little Mickeys are awesome, and it's not something you see in all the different dip powder companies. So I loved that. I loved the way these powders worked. They were super easy to work with. The glitters were easy to work with. I really like this company, and I will definitely be ordering from them again. So I'm going to also be coming out with some more nail art videos. I'm going to come out with some more videos that show a little bit more in depth about my glitter process or foils, that kind of a thing. But give me some ideas. Comment below. Let me know what you want to see from me. Do you want to watch me play around with nail art and see if I can do it? I know that there's probably going to be some where I fail miserably, and I'm happy to show you all that. Like I said, I have foibles and I have triumphs, and I am perfectly happy to show you all of it. So I do have one that I think is maybe a partial triumph and a partial foible coming up soon. It was a little tough. I did some nail art, some freehand painting nail art with my non-dominant hand. So that one's going to be coming up soon. And yeah, so comment below. Let me know what you want to see. Let me know what you like. Let me know what you hate. Am I talking too much? Do I have too long of videos? I try and mix it up and make some of my videos a little bit on the shorter side. Some of them are on the longer side, especially when I get into the tutorials where I show a lot of detail. So I try and mix it up some, but I just really want to give you content that you want to see. So just comment below, let me know. All right, I'm getting to the point where I'm about to finish up here. And I'll show you what I got, and it is super shiny, and I'll show a picture after it's cured. But I love this mani. It's a week later now that I'm doing this editing, and I'm still wearing it. I'm really trying to limp it along as I can, and it's still shiny, it's still gorgeous, and I love it. So thank you for watching. See you later. Bye.